In this video, we will discuss Rizal's journey in Europe, his first homecoming and his achievements and failures after coming back to Calamba.
After the publication of Noli Me Tangere, Rizal planned to visit the important places in Europe. Dr. Maximo Viola agreed to be his traveling companion. Rizal received Pasiano's remittance of 1,000 pesos, which was forwarded by Juan Luna from Paris, and immediately paid his debt to Viola, which he loaned so that Noli Me Tangere could be printed. First, he and Viola visited Potsdam, a city near Berlin. The tour begins. At the dawn of May 11, 1887, Rizal and Viola, two brown-skinned doctors on a roaming spree, left Berlin by plane. Their destination was in Dresden, one of the best cities in Germany.
Rizal and Viola tarried for some time in Dresden. They visited Dr. Adolf B. Meyer, who was overjoyed to see them. In the Museum of Art, Rizal was deeply impressed by printing Prometheus Bound. They also met Dr. Jaeger and heard their plan to visit Les Meurites in order to see Blumentritt. He advised to wire Blumentritt because the old professor might be shocked of their visit.
At 1:30 p.m. of May 15, 1887, the train arrived at the railroad station of Les Meurites. Professor Blumentritt was at the station carrying a pencil sketch of Rizal, which he sent to identify his friend. Blumentritt got a room at Hotel Rebs, which he said brought them to his house, and he stayed at Les Meurites May 13 to 14, 1887. They enjoyed the hospitality of Blumentritt family. The professor's wife Rosa was a good cook. She prepared Australian dishes which Rizal liked very much. Blumentritt approved to be a good tourist as well as a hospitable host. He showed the scenic and historical spot of Les Meurites to his visitors. The burgomaster was also amazed by Rizal's talent.
Rizal and Viola visited the historic city of Prague. They carried letters of recommendation from Blumentritt to Dr. Wilcom, professor in University of Prague. Rizal and Viola visited the tomb of Copernicus. May 20, they arrived at Vienna, capital of Austria-Hungary. They met Norman Falls, one of the greatest novelists in that time. They stayed at the Hotel Metropole. They also met two good friends of Blumentritt, Massner and Nordmann, Austrian scholars.
May 24, Rizal and Viola left Vienna on a riverboat to see beautiful insights of Danube River. As they traveled along the famous river, Rizal observed neatly river sights. The river voyage ended in Lanes. They traveled overland in Salzburg, and from there to Munich, where they sojourned for a short time to savor the famous Munich beer.
They stayed from June 2 to 3, 1887 and continued to tour to Basel, Bern, and Lausanne. Rizal and Viola left Lausanne in a little boat crossing the foggy Lemon Lake to Geneva. On June 19, 1887, his 26th birthday, Rizal treated Viola to a blowout. Rizal and Viola spent 15 days in Geneva. On June 23, they parted ways. Viola decided to return to Barcelona, while Rizal continued his way to tour to Italy.
Rizal received sad news from his friends in Madrid of the deplorable conditions of the primitive Igorots who were exhibited in this exposition. Some of these Igorots died. Rizal was outraged by the degradation of his fellow countrymen.
As day 1884, Rizal wanted to go back to the Philippines for the following reasons: financial difficulties in Calamba, dissatisfaction with his studies in Madrid, desire to prove that there is no reason to fear going home, his belief that the Spanish regime will not punish the innocent.
After 5 years of his memorable sojourn in Europe, Rizal returned to the Philippines. However, Rizal was warned by the following not to return to the Philippines because Noli Me Tangere angered friars. Pasiano Mercado, Rizal's advisor and only brother. Silvestre Obaldo, Rizal's brother-in-law and husband of Olympia. Jose Maria Cecilio also known as Chengoy, one of Rizal's closest friends.
Rizal was determined to come back to the Philippines for the following reasons: to operate his mother's eyes, to serve his people who had long been oppressed by Spanish tyrants, to find out himself how Noli Me Tangere and his other writings were affecting Filipinos and Spaniards, and to inquire why Leonor Rivera remained silent.
Rizal left Rome by train to Marseilles, a French port, and boarded Gemna, the same steamer that brought him to Europe 5 years ago. There were 50 passengers, 4 Englishmen, 2 Germans, 3 Chinese, 2 Japanese, 40 Frenchmen, and 1 Filipino, which is Rizal. When the ship reached Aden, the weather became rough and some of Rizal's books got wet. In Saigon, Vietnam, he transferred to another steamer, Haiphong, that brought him to Manila.
When Rizal arrived at Calamba, rumors spread that he was a German spy. Second is an agent of Otto von Bismarck, one of the great liberator of Germany. The third reason is a Protestant. Fourth, a Mason. Fifth, a soul halfway to damnation. Paciano did not leave him during the first days after arrival to protect him from enemy assault. Don Francisco did not permit him to go out alone.
Here's a few of the things Rizal achieved in returning to Calamba on August 8, 1897. He established a medical clinic. His first patient was his mother, who was almost blind. Rizal, who was called Dr. Aliman because he came from Germany, treated their ailments, and soon he acquired a lucrative medicine practice. Rizal opened a gymnasium for young folks where he introduced European sports. Rizal suffered one failure during his sojourn in Calamba, his failure to see Leonor Rivera.